Hi guys, good morning. Today we are going to start a new topic. I am going to ask that you are ready with your pencil and your notebook, ready to take lots of notes because as I said, we are starting a new topic. So you may need to copy a few things, okay? Today we are going to start talking about adjectives. And these are some of the things that we're going to cover. We are going to talk about what is an adjective. Adjectives after be. And when we say be, we're talking about verbs be. Using a and the, also making comparisons using the comparative and superlative forms. We will be comparing with more and most, as well as with good and bad. So, what is an adjective? An adjective is a word that gives information about a noun. And don't forget that a noun names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. You can use more than one adjective to describe a noun. There are a few categories when we talk about adjectives. The first category, describing the quantity, and that answers to how many. Examples: 2, 5, 35, many, few, first, last, some, all, or none. Sometimes we make it, and it's easy to identify when it gives you specific numbers, such as 2 or 5. But don't forget that words such as many, few, and some, all, none, are also words that answer to how many. Another category for adjectives describes quality, and this answers to what kind. In some of the examples that we have on words that answer to what kind, we have hot, cold, beautiful, ugly, easy, difficult, sweet, sour, angry, and calm. And when we're talking about quality, the one that answers to what kind, we could also refer to it as sort of opinions, right? We can say that we grew a beautiful plant. What kind of plant? A beautiful plant. But someone else may have a different opinion, so they may not think of it as beautiful. They may think of it as ugly. Okay? It's the same thing, for example, if someone is taking a test, you can say that test is difficult, or that was a very difficult test. Difficult would be describing what kind of test it was. It was a difficult test. But again, maybe it was difficult for someone, but easy for someone else. So when we're talking about the quality, it can also be someone's opinion. Another category for adjective would be the size. What size? Short, long, large, small, thin, thick, 2 feet long, maybe 2 inches long. So when you're giving specific measurements, we're describing size. And that's another category for an adjective. Another category for adjective would be describing the age. Young, old, 16-year-old, a baby, a teenage, an antique, a modern, and these are just examples. There's a huge difference if I were to tell you that baby girl is so beautiful, right? Baby is describing girl. If I say the teenage girl runs fast, teenage is describing the girl. It tells the age. Another category would be describing the shape or the form. So what shape or form is it? Is it fat? Is it slim? Is it round? Is it square? Is it rectangular, circular? Is it crooked? Is it straight? Is it uneven or flat? These are all words that describe the shape. Another category, which is pretty simple to you guys, is the color, describing the color. What color is it? And I don't want you, because color is the easiest one, I don't want you to overdo this. So every time you're working with sentences, I don't want you to give the color of every single thing just because you're trying to describe it or make the sentence interesting, okay? So for example, purple, light green, yellowish. These are all examples of colors. It could be dark green, right? Or light purple, lavender. You can also refer to it giving the color family, neon green or pastel, right? Another example, or another set of categories, another category, excuse me, would be describing the origin, where it comes from. Examples: American, Puerto Rican, Hawaiian. The Puerto Rican flag. Puerto Rican is describing the flag. These are all proper adjectives. As you can see, they are all capitalized, okay? Another category would be describing the material. What material is it? Examples: cotton, leather, glass, steel, wooden, plastic. And I'm sure that you can think of a few things that are made out of these materials, right? Okay, good. Another category is be specific, and this we can also use ask what kind. Examples: the kitchen table. It could be the desk table, it could be the dining room table, but in this sentence, let's say for example that I wanted to talk about the kitchen table. In this case, kitchen is a word that is describing the table, okay? Same as sports car. What kind of car? Well, it's a sports car. Sports is an adjective in this sentence, or in this phrase, that is describing car. Christmas card. What kind of card? Christmas. It's a Christmas card. It's not a birthday card, it's a Christmas card. Okay. Also, a tennis ball. What kind of ball? A tennis ball. Because you're being specific, you're telling what kind of ball it is. Let's look at the last one. Football coach. What kind of coach? Oh, he is a football coach. Football is describing coach. Awesome. Now, what do you notice? Let's read the first sentence together. Mom bought a wooden new kitchen beautiful table. That sounds weird. He drove a sports fast Italian yellow car. Whoa. That doesn't make any sense at all. And that's because there is a specific order for adjectives. The quantity should go first, and then the quality. Then you can talk about the size, the age, the shape, the color, the origin, the material, and specifics. Make sure to pause the video at this moment so that you can write the order for adjectives at this point. Once you're done, you may continue with the class discussion. Now that you've written the order of adjectives, let's go back to those two sentences. Now, what do you see? Mom bought a beautiful new wooden kitchen table. Wow, now it makes a lot more sense. Beautiful describes the quality. New describes the age. Wooden describes the material. In kitchen describes specifics. It tells you the specific table that mom bought. We followed the order of adjectives. Perfect. Let's go to the second sentence now. He drove a fast yellow Italian sports car. Wow, now it sounds a lot better. Fast describes quality. Yellow describes the color. Italian describes the origin. In sports, says specifically what kind of car. So we followed the order of adjectives. Great job. When use commas? When do we need to use commas when working with adjectives? When there's only one adjective from each category before a noun, no comma is needed. Example, we drove down a long red dirt road. In the sentence, we have long, which is size. It describes the size. Red, it describes the color. Dirt, it describes specific. What kind of road? A dirt road. Perfect. Because they're all from different categories, we do not need to have a comma. When more than one adjective from a category is used before a noun, commas are needed. Example, we drove down a crooked winding road. Crooked, it's describing a specific type of road, and so it's winding. Because these two are from the same category, we must separate it using a comma. Adjectives after be. And don't forget, when we're talking about be, we're talking about verb be, which is am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Remember? Good. Adjectives describe nouns and pronouns too. They can also describe words like I, it, you, we, he, she, and they, which take the place of nouns. An adjective can come after the word it describes. This usually happens when an adjective follows a form of the verb be. Let's look at some examples. Notice that all the verbs be have been underlined. We have is, am, were, are. You should be able to identify them quickly. Now, we're going to find each adjective and the word that it describes. Now, don't forget, when there is a verb be in the sentence, the adjective will be after the verb. The project is ready. What word is describing here? And what is it describing? Ready. Ready is describing project. The project is ready. Perfect. I am excited. Did you find the adjective? You did. Now tell me the word that it describes. You got it. Excited describes I. Good job. Let's go to the next one. The pie is homemade. Let's think about this for a minute. Find the adjective and the word it describes. Did you find it? Great. If you said homemade, yes, homemade is the adjective, and it's describing the pie. Yummy. Let's go to number 2. It is moist. The word moist is describing it. You got it. Number 3, the apples were fresh. Think about this for a minute. Can you find a word that it's describing? You did. Fresh. Yes, fresh is describing the apples. They're saying how the apples were. The apples were fresh. Number 4, they are juicy. Let me give you a second. Find the adjective and the word that it describes. Did you find it? What is it? Yes, juicy. Juicy describes they. Great job. Now let's talk about some special adjectives. They're called articles. A, and, the. These are the special adjectives. How does this work? Well, when you have a singular noun, this is how it's going to work. Let's read carefully. When do we use a? If the next word begins with a consonant sound, like a flower. Flower starts with a consonant sound. And flower is a singular noun. It's only naming one. So we use a flower. Good job. Let's go to an. When do we use an? If the next word begins with a vowel sound, like an octopus or an apple. Yes, or an elephant. You got it. When do we use the? If the noun names a particular person, place, or thing. Another word for particular is specific. So, the yard. We're not talking about just any yard, we're talking about the yard. Let's say that you lost your jacket at lunchtime and you are asking to go to the yard to find it. You're not asking to go to any yard, you want to go to the yard in the school to find it. Yes, so if the noun names a particular person, place, or thing, we say the yard. Let me give you another example. Let's say that I left my phone on the desk. I can tell you guys, please get the phone on the desk. It's a specific phone that I need you to get on top of the desk. Awesome. When do we use the as well? We also use it with plural nouns. So we say the flowers, the toys, the elephants, the students, the teachers, the desks. Perfect. So now we know that we can use the for singular and for plural nouns. That's good. Let's look at these 4 sentences. Dad cracked the egg. I brought a magazine to read. Noah ate an apple for snack. Luna wants a bite. Do you see any mistakes? If you need to go back to the lesson and review a little bit, you may do so. I'll give you a second, okay? Okay. Let's see. If you notice that in the first sentence, it says Dad cracked an egg, and you realize that that's a mistake, you got this. Egg starts with a vowel sound. Egg, which means that we should not have used a because Egg starts with a vowel sound. So A should not have been in the sentence. The correct article would be Dad cracked an egg because the word that follows the article starts with a vowel sound. Great job. Let's go to the second one. Did you find a mistake? Tell me, what is it? You got it. If you realize that the article N is incorrect, you are correct. Now tell me why. Let's look at the word that follows. Magazine. Magazine starts with M, and M has a consonant sound. Good job. Which means that if the word that follows the article starts with a consonant sound, and it's not the article, we should have used A. I brought a magazine to read. Good job. Let's go to the next one. Noah ate an apple for snack. Noah ate an apple for snack. You notice the article N. The word that follows begins with a vowel sound, apple. So, great job. No mistakes. You've got this. Luna wants a bike. Luna wants a bike. You identify the article A and you look at the word after it. Bike starts with B. B is a consonant sound. So great job, no mistakes. It's correct. Luna wants a bike. Awesome. When we talk about adjectives, it's always going to be the topic of making comparisons. You're going to be comparing with adjectives. Adjectives are very fun words. So when we talk about making comparisons, what are we talking about? Making comparisons with adjectives. They're divided in two categories. The first category is comparative, and the comparative ends with ER. When do we use the comparative? Well, you use the comparative to compare two nouns. The comparative form is used with the word than. You're going to see this word. This is the key word that you're going to find, and it's going to sort of let you know that it's the comparative form that you need. Example, big, it's an adjective, right? A horse is bigger than a dog. See the word than here in the sentence? And we added ER. Also, we doubled the consonant, and by now you should know that when you have a one-syllable word with one single vowel ending in vowel consonant, you double the consonant and then you add ER. Perfect. How about the superlative? When do we use the superlative form? Well, the superlative form is going to end with EST. It is used to compare three or more nouns. You're going to use it with the. You're going to see the article the before the superlative form. And you use it when something is the most of all. Example, the blue whale is the biggest of all. See the keyword here, the biggest. We just add EST, and don't forget that we follow the rule. We're going to talk about the rules in just a minute, where we double the consonant and then we add EST. So we talked about making comparisons with the comparative, where it ends with the suffix ER, and the superlative, where the ending is EST. Awesome. Now here are some examples of comparative and superlative form. We have the adjectives in the first column, the comparatives in the middle column, and the superlatives in the last column. Now notice that every single adjective in the comparative column ends with ER. And the ones in the superlative form, they end with EST. Now don't forget, we use the comparative when we are comparing two, and we use the superlative when we are comparing three or more. So we have older, we have old, older, oldest, wide, wider, widest. And don't forget that we're going to follow the rule where we drop the E and then we add ER or EST. It's important for you to remember the rules. We have thin. Thin, it's a one-syllable word with one vowel and ends in vowel consonants. So we double the consonants and then we add ER to form the comparative and we add EST to form the superlative. Tiny, tinier, tiniest. Look at the adjective tiny. Tiny ends with a consonant Y. So we change the Y to I and add ER to form the comparative, or we add EST to form the superlative. And then we have few, fewer, fewest, angry, angrier, angriest, big, bigger, biggest, easy, easier, easiest, fast, faster, fastest. And these again are just some examples. Here are the rules for adding ER and EST to form comparisons. Now I want you to pause the video and I want you to write these down, okay? Most of these are very familiar to you because they're going to sound very familiar to some of the rules for forming the past tense, okay? The only difference is that we're adding ER and EST at the end. So adjectives ending with E, we drop the E before adding the ending, which is ER or EST. Good. Number 2, adjectives ending with a single vowel and a consonant, you double the consonant and add the ending. Again, ER and EST. Thin, thinner, thinnest. Notice how I double the consonant. Number 3, adjectives ending with a consonant and Y, change Y to I before adding the ending. Tiny, tinier, tiniest. All right, so once you copy the rules down, you can hit play and continue watching the video. Let's complete these sentences. Number 1, new. Alaska is not the blank state, and we're working with new. Now, remember those keywords that I told you about? Here we go. In the first sentence, we have the. Do you remember what to use if we found the word the in the sentence before forming the comparison? Do you remember? If you said superlative, you are correct. So Alaska is not the newest state. We add EST. Number 2, old. Every state except Hawaii is blank, then Alaska. Do you see a keyword here in this sentence? If you said then you're correct. Now when you see then, are we using comparative, adding ER, or are we using superlative, adding EST? Yes, we're adding ER, so it's older. Every state except Hawaii is older than Alaska. Good job. Number 3, Alaska is the blank of all the states. Again, let's look for keywords. Before we continue, not only do we see the word then, but in the second sentence, we are comparing Hawaii and Alaska. So we know that we're definitely using the comparative because we are using the comparative form when we are comparing two nouns. In this sentence, Hawaii and Alaska. Awesome. Now let's continue. Alaska is the blank of all the states. Look at the keyword, the. It's right before the states. So are we using the comparative form or are we using the superlative form? Are we using the comparative, adding the ER, or are we using the superlative, using EST at the end? The keyword the is for superlative. Yes, biggest. Alaska is the biggest of all the states. Not only that, but we're talking, you can see keywords such as all as well. Alaska is the biggest of all the states. You know that the United States has more than 3 states. So we know that the superlative form was definitely the one to be used. Great. Number 4, and our adjective is tiny. However, Wyoming has the blank population, and we have tiny. Let's look at the keyword, the, right before the states. However, Wyoming has the blank population. Do we say the tinier population or do we say the tiniest population? If you said tiniest, you are correct. Don't forget that the keyword the, we use it with superlative forms, which means adding EST. And also, we have to follow the rules. Tiny is an adjective that ends in consonant Y, which means that we have to change the Y to I and add EST. Perfect. Now, let's do comparing with more and most. And we use comparing with more and most with long adjectives. So, more is the comparative form and most is the superlative form. So, again, we use more to compare 2 nouns. You're also going to use it with than. You're going to see it in the sentence. Something that you need to know, never add ER and more in the same sentence. That is incorrect. For example, intelligent. Intelligent, it's a long adjective, right? Intelligent, it has 4 syllables. So it would be incorrect to say tiger is more intelligenter than the ginger. Again, we never add ER and use more in the same sentence. So here they used more, which shows the comparative form, and they also used ER, which also shows the comparative form. This is incorrect. With long adjectives, we only use more. So the correct way to say it would be tiger is more intelligent than ginger. Okay? Awesome. Now, most is used with the superlative form, which means that we are going to compare 3 or more. It's used with the. You're still going to see the before it. It's used when something is the most of all. And in the same way, we never add EST and use most in the same sentence. Okay? Don't forget that we use most for long adjectives. Let's continue to use intelligent. It would be incorrect to say tiger is the most intelligent cat. Notice how they used most, which already shows the superlative form, and they added EST to intelligent, which EST already shows the superlative form. It would be incorrect. Intelligent is a long adjective. It has 2 syllables or more. So we use most for this adjective. So the correct form would be tiger is the most intelligent cat. Okay, see, we use most and we use intelligent. You got it? Okay, so never, ever, never use more and ER in the same sentence. More intelligent would be the right way. You don't say that Tiger is intelligenter because this is a long adjective. Okay? All right. Same with the superlative form. We don't say most intelligentest. That would be a mistake. We say the most intelligent cat. Awesome. So let's practice. What word should you add to the adjective in parentheses to complete each sentence correctly? Number one. If you want at this point, you can pause it, you can try to figure it out, and then hit play to see what the answers are, okay? Don't forget, I always tell you, challenge yourself, okay? Awesome. So, number one, cats and dogs are among the blank of all pets. Did you see a keyword in the sentence? You did. What was it? The? Good job. Yes, cats and dogs are among the blank of all pets. So do you need the comparative form or do you need the superlative form? If you set the superlative form ending, in this case, what is it? More or most? Which one? Out of more and most, which one is showing the superlative form? If you said most, you're correct. So cats and dogs are among the most common of all pets. Good job. Don't forget that you need to use the adjective most with the adjective per se, okay? So this is to show comparison, and this one is the adjective. So cats and dogs are among the most common of all pets. Number two, cats are blank than dogs though, and the adjective is independent. So are we going to use more? Cats are more independent than dogs, or are we going to use cats are most independent than dogs? Is there a keyword that can help you? Yes, if you say then you're correct, which means that we have to use the comparative, which is more independent. Perfect. Number three, one of the blank of all breeds of cat is the Siamese, and our adjective is popular. Do you see a keyword in the sentence to help you decide if you're going to use more or most? If you said the, then you're correct. Right before the space, we have the. Are we using the superlative? Are we using, what are we using? Tell me, talk to me. Yes, we're using the superlative, which is most popular. You're getting this. Good job. Now, let's compare with good and bad. I know that you guys know that we don't say goodest or gooder or badder or baddest, right? So that's what we're going to discuss now, comparing with good and bad. We change the forms of the adjectives good and bad when you make comparisons. They change, but it's not gooder or goodest or baddest and baddest. No, we change good to better. That's the comparative form. And then we use best for the superlative form. And don't forget that we are still going to use the keyword than. For bad, the comparative form is worse, and the superlative form is worst. And we still are going to see and use the keyword the before the comparison. Are you ready to try it out? Okay. So let's look at some examples. If you're just talking about one thing, we're not comparing anything. So you just need to use the adjective. So I found good book at the library. Okay, it's a good book. This is describing the book. I read a bad story last night. Again, we're not comparing, we're just talking about one story. And it was a bad one. Okay. But what happens when you're comparing two? We say it is better than, here's a keyword, the last book I read. So we're comparing the book that you're reading now with the book that you that you last read. It was worse than the story we read yesterday. So we're comparing the story that you're reading now with the story that you read yesterday. So this better, worse, or the comparative form. You see how the spelling changed? Okay, so what happens when you're comparing three or more? We use best and worst. Let's read the example. What is the best book you have ever read? See, out of all the books that you read, which one is the best? Let's look at the second sentence. It may be the worst story I ever read. Out of all the stories that I've read, this story is the worst. And because I'm comparing it with more than three, I use the superlative form, which is worse. Okay? So again, good, better, best, bad, worse, worst. You got it? You can pause the video and copy this table down. It's going to be a great help for your assignment. So let's practice. The rain today is much blank than yesterday. Do you see a keyword in the sentence? You did? Okay, so what is your answer? The rain today is much worse than yesterday. Yes, because you saw the keyword than. Good job. So we're comparing two things, the rain today with the rain yesterday. You see it? Okay. Number two, today would be the blank day of the week to visit the library. So, do you see a keyword in the sentence? You did, the. Okay, so the answer is today would be the best day of the week to visit the library, because you know that this keyword, it directs you, it points you to, it helps you to know that you have to choose the superlative form. And the superlative form, when you're comparing three or more for good, is best, okay? So we know that we have 7 days in a week, and we're comparing today with the rest of the days. So we know that we need to use the superlative form. Great job. Number three, I think that animal stories are blank than science fiction. Did you see a keyword? Oh, you said than, didn't you? Yes, you did. So I think that animal stories are better than science fiction. Good job. Because we're comparing, animal stories with science fiction. Good job. Okay. Remember, when you are comparing two things, you need the comparative form. You're going to see the word than in the sentence. And the comparative forms for good is better. And the comparative form for bad is worse. See it right here? Also, if you're comparing three things or more, the superlative form of good is best, and the superlative for bad is worst. So if you're comparing three things or more, you say worst. That was the worst story out of the 20 books that I read. This one was the worst. Okay, again, you're comparing with three or more. You can pause the video here and you can copy this table as well. Okay, and then hit play. This is not over yet. Stay with me. Okay. Oh, just kidding. Okay, guys, so now what I want you to do is I want you to go to the assignment number 12. It's adjectives, and you're going to be practicing everything that we've discussed in this assignment, okay? If you have any questions, don't forget to email me. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.